Conditioning is key to being on tour. It's grueling. I did PR for some star from for other artists, and so in some tours I like be with them, and even when some of these artists are not really performers, like they're more vocalists, so many of them would just stand in place. It's still grueling for their body. Are you going to do a little meet and greet for the LA concert? I hope so. Yes, that is the plan, to meet some of you. I just want the plan for the actual concert to come out first, because I'm sure that your primary thing would be to maximize your experience in J Hope's concert, right? I'm sure that if there are activities there, you would want to experience that. So I want to adjust how to meet you guys. I want to design it around what J Hope is going to do in his concert. Um, Jessica said he did say he was working out now, so that's good. I remember Yoongi saying how much he trained before the tour. Yeah, yeah, it's just grueling to be able to do, and it's not just one. The physical thing is one thing, and then the mental and the emotional thing is another, because you do need to put yourself in a position. It takes a lot out of you, and a lot of people who don't perform or who don't go in front of people to speak or whatever, they underestimate this element. But the truth is that for you to put yourself in a position to command such a big audience, there's a certain conditioning, there's a certain place where you need to put yourself in to be convincing, right? Because it can eat you up if you don't condition yourself mentally. That can eat you up. Like, imagine one person, and then there are other artists, it comes second nature to them, that they will just command it. um but I don't want to use the word arrogance, but there's a certain amount of confidence that you need to have for you to command that big of an audience. So having six other people to do it with lightens up the load, but when you're doing it all alone, it really takes a lot out of you. So yeah, so before you perform, certain space where you need to put yourself in order to command the stage. Remember, a lot of people criticized RM for saying that. He said that when they go on stage, they have to believe they are the best, because they have to believe I am worthy of how whatever much you paid for me to for you to see me perform. I am worth that much. And there's like thousands of people who are paying that I am worth that. I am the best. And that is not, he's not saying it just because he was being arrogant or whatever. He said it and he does it just because that is what he needs to do in order to perform well. So there's a certain amount of mental and emotional conditioning that you need to do. And for you to do it like regularly on a weekly basis, it takes a lot out of you. A lot. So it's one thing to teach, but it's one thing to just perform your art. Okay. Anyway, why would RM get criticized for popping himself up? I don't remember when did he say that. I think it was right around they were doing stadium tours and they were being asked about haters, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And if I find that interview again, I will show it to you guys. But he did say that it was like, we don't really we don't really think about those things. We can't think about those things. When we go on stage, we believe you are the best. Like, we need to think that we're the best and that we're so, which I thought was like an, as I've said, I've done a lot of PR for celebrities, for musicians, and as I see it, like, especially when they're hyping themselves up, you can physically see how they're trying to transform themselves to be that one, like to be the one for these thousands of people. So yeah. And another person who spoke about it was Taylor Swift. I remember that incident with Kanye West in MTV Awards, when Kanye went to the stage to grab the award, not grab the mic, and when she won an award, and Kanye West said like, "Oh, like you did good, but Beyonce released one of the best, whatever, or something like that." And so, and then she had to perform after that. Remember being embarrassed. Imagine being embarrassed in front of like millions of people, because outside of the live audience there are millions of people watching MTV at that time. And so she was embarrassed that much, and then she had to perform. So everyone was asking her like, how did you manage to perform? Because a lot of people would just like sink in depression or whatever. And she said it's just something that we have to do as a singer. You have to put yourself in a place where you shut everything down, you shut everything up and out in order to really just perform. So, okay. And Eminem, I think, also talked about it. Like when you go on stage, he said when he goes on stage and you have this swagger, especially the kind of music that he performs, like you have to have that kind of swagger, and no one's going to believe it unless you yourself believe that it's you. Something like that. Okay.